Perplexing to me. I mean, conservatives, I'm sure they don't like a lot of the halftime performers, but popular music is popular music, and if you don't like it, just go watch something else.
Yeah, there
don't complain about it.
Plenty of things you could be doing instead. I didn't find it super objectionable in comparison to previous halftime shows. It was pretty much equal level of outrage, except there wasn't any outrage, if you want to call, provocative dancing. That was probably the maximum that you could really muster. As far as the America is not great criticism from Trump, maybe he took the Bad Bunny line about, everything is America, or, God bless America, and then he lists like all of the Latin American and Central American countries. But honestly, I don't think that's objectionable either, because I think what that is just a unifying message. And I think most Americans just took it at its artistic performance value, which was family friendly, actually family focused.
There was a wedding that happened.
One of the biggest performers in the world. Three of the top 10 songs are his. He's an incredible international performer. He's a part of America, right? He's Puerto Rican. He's a part of America. This was an opportunity to introduce that part of the culture to a lot of people who never saw it before. I think he did it in a phenomenal way. He made sure the background of Puerto Rico was displayed. It was a chance for us to learn about America and our fellow Americans, and there really should be no controversy.
I mean, first of all, it was really just a fantastic show.
Oh, I was so happy.
It was like watching a movie set, as he moved through the entire show. But we also are having all of this anxiety about whether or not it was American. We've had U2, we've had Celine Dion, we've had Coldplay. We've had a lot of international acts with people who literally were not Americans, and nobody cares.
I think two things are true at the same time. Number one, I think the conservatives, some of whom are saying this was the worst thing in the world, including the president, I completely disagree. It wasn't the worst thing. It's also not the best Super Bowl halftime show we've ever seen. Like, some of the praise of it has been over the top to also make political points. And, to your point, there were a lot of people who did leave and didn't watch. They watched Kid Rock, which was also something that was happening at the time. They competed really well, I think, given it was a YouTube-only event. And Kid Rock was mocked, and conservatives were mocked for doing that. So they did do what you said.
And it was bad lip syncing.
Only because it was like, it was kind of like,
it was a response.
The conservatives didn't have an artist that maybe they liked. So instead of just saying, okay, not our day, let's go do something else. There's a lot of insulting happening of the Super Bowl. Jake Paul says, turn off this halftime show. Or a fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I cannot support that. Kid Rock, this is today. Here's what he said about the Super Bowl halftime production.
Nothing against Jay-Z. I respect him for his hustle and, his music. But it seems like there's a little bit of a DEI hire there going on,
I don't know. I mean, that's the stuff.
And that's it can't be about his music.
I mean, if you want to put DEI on the table, right? If this is about merit, I mean, Jay-Z and his career runs laps around Kid Rock.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we even talking about here?
And
It
the other
thing I want to
seems
know
like
is
cultural resentment, and it doesn't seem necessary.
There is cultural resentment.
It's the reactionary culture that I think is so insufferable to so many Americans. And if you want to really take the Kid Rock lyrics, you want to take the Bad Bunny lyrics, I mean, come on, it's like a whole nother level. And that's coming from a conservative who's like, this is outrageously
there was a
vulgar.
piece of Kid Rock's lyric where he's talking about underage girls that was highlighted a couple days ago.
And the thing about, you didn't have to speak Spanish to know what he was saying, right? And it was so joyful. It was so upbeat. It was so young kids and people getting married and, iconic.
But even if it wasn't, you don't like the music.
I didn't know what he was saying. I didn't hate
but even if it wasn't, you don't like the music, it doesn't make it un-American. One, America doesn't have a national language, right? And so if he spoke Spanish, he spoke Spanish. He's Puerto Rican, they speak Spanish to Puerto Rican.
It should be an event that
but
brought
imagine
people
being so
together.
bigoted that you think, I don't like this music, so it's un-American.
Right.
Well,
Imagine
I don't
being so
think
bigoted that
I don't think Bad Bunny set himself up for success, though. He tainted his future performance by his anti-ICE activism that nobody asked for.
Or he elevated his stature.
He set himself up for success by being the top-selling artist right now in the world. He has
but
3
that's why
songs in
so
the
many
top 10.
Americans, I think,
That's why he
tuned
was in the
out.
Super
They
Bowl.
tuned out because they anticipated an anti-law enforcement screed when they would have just
didn't
wanted a
happen.
performance, which didn't happen.
Which didn't happen.
You're right,
So
but that's why you don't
why
use
the
that stage
continued
for that.
hatred of him.
And they had
And by the
great
way,
radio
Kid Rock,
No,
Kid-
honestly,
it
Kid
didn't
Rock
happen.
just did an
I was in line.
anti-woke screed, right? Right when they had,
Yes,
they had the
and
conversation.
he's getting criticized by the left for it.
Because the
saying-
artists
you
are
were saying
able,
that there
ought to be able to
is-
say what they want.
Resentment.
Both are
What do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
I think the left has had control over entertainment for a while, and we just haven't seen conservative values at this, exposed to the same level. We just haven't. And part of that is, outside of country music, you don't have a whole lot of outspoken conservatives in media. We just don't have in entertainment media. We don't.
But
And I
isn't
think
that like a you win, if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose.
No, I
Like,
think it's
I
a-
mean, if
it's an
conservatives are
acknowledgement.
not as successful as liberals, that's just the
Well,
market.
no, I think what we've heard.
You don't think that's the market
No,
speaking?
I don't, because I think what we've heard from a lot of folks who finally came out and said, I'm not comfortable speaking out as a conservative. And I think we have
Most
going on right
artists-
now with Nicki
but-
Minaj, who's getting
but
attacked over
most
this very
artists
issue.
don't speak out about politics. They're
One way
they're
or the other.
successful.
Oh,
yeah.
I
They're
agree.
successful
And
on
liberals
Yeah,
their
that's the
fandom,
point.
on whether
And
people
Bad
love their
Bunny
music,
wasn't
whether
chosen
they
for
are
his
producing
politics.
things that are
Right.
good.
But there's
so
a
I mean, when
bullying
I mean, I don't believe that any artist should be judged on their politics. But if it is, in fact,
Depends
that
on the politics.
right-leaning artists are just simply not producing the art that people want to consume, isn't that just merit?
No,
playing
because
itself
whether
out?
or not someone feels
'Cause they're not
comfortable
allowed to be
speaking
right-wing.
out in
I'm
favor of
talking
their
about putting
conservative
aside.
values.
I'm talking about putting aside their political views,
But
just
I'm
straight
saying
up
that's
on the
where-
music, on the art, on
we
the
think-
on the acting.
But do you think that there is closer to a 50-50 in artists who are conservative versus liberals, or do you think that?
No, you're missing the point.
yeah.
Bad Bunny wasn't
They're
chosen
clearly not-
because of his politics. He was chosen because he's a good
He's
artist.
huge.
He just
He's
happened.
huge.
He may just happen to have views you don't agree with.
Oh, 100%.
That's nothing to do with it.
But yes, I'm not,
He's talented.
no one here is
So you
saying
acknowledge
that.
he's
What his
talented,
point
right? It
is
has
that
nothing
he's
to do with his
talented.
politics.
I don't think he was chosen for his politics necessarily. I do think it was chosen in the context of the political world that we're now
You mean
living in.
chosen for the Super Bowl specifically?
Yeah,
But
you're
I'm talking,
highlighting-
But I'm
What is
talking about the fact that he is one of the most, if not the most popular musician on the planet.
Right now.
That was before
Yeah,
he was talking about ICE, before he was talking about
Well, no,
any of this
that's
stuff.
yes, but they were also
Yes, it was-
concurrent because he. No, I'm sorry, he was
Bad
also
Bunny
going
has
after
been-
ICE. He's been going
hold
after
on,
ICE for a while.
This was before Donald Trump was president.
Yeah.
Before ICE, Bad Bunny was a massive music star
Yes.
globally.
Yes,
He brought
and
in
the
has
reason
nothing to
why-
do
but
with
the
the
reason
millions of
why
dollars
he
to
got
Puerto
on the
Rico.
attention of conservatives who expressed some reservations was because of his political stances in a context in which conservative viewpoints generally not put on display.
You're right
in
that
media.
that's the reason that conservatives started paying attention to him. That is not the reason that he is a massive star.
Yeah,
He is a
I'm-
massive
no
star.
one- I don't know
and
anyone who's
you're
arguing
right. The reason he was actually chosen is because Roger Goodell wants the NFL to go global, and he wants to expand into the Latin America markets.
Bingo.
That's
There you
why.
go.
That's why
That's
he's chosen.
100%.
Capitalism.
Right.
Oh, now you're all pro-capitalism.
I've always been.
All right. Ahead for us, will Trump try to replay his 2020 playbook and attempt to undermine the 2026 midterms? We're going to unpack what one columnist is calling the nightmare scenario next.